Hi guys, it's Bryony. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing my second pre-recorded video, which will be going out whilst I am on mat leave. And the topic of today's video is baby boy names that I loved but would not be using with my little one. Now, obviously, as I said, I've pre-recorded this video, so I'm currently still pregnant. And that means I am not going to be saying the name that I actually chose for my little one, just because I'm a little bit superstitious, and also just in case he happens to come out and I go, absolutely not, that is not the name I've chosen for you. So if you don't follow me on Instagram and you haven't seen me announce baby boy's arrival already, you'll just have to wait until I come back from my maternity leave and start putting videos up on YouTube again. But I do have a list of names that I liked, but for various reasons decided I will not be using for this baby. I will also say there are a couple of other names from this list of baby names that I like but haven't chosen to use this time, but I am not announcing them on this video just in case the name I originally chose when he comes out I decide I don't like and I want to use one of them instead, and also on the off chance that I might have another child in the future, another baby boy in the future, it's potential that I might use some of those names. So I'm not going to be sharing those particular names that I like. There's only 2 or 3 to be honest, but there were some other names that I really liked but decided that I would not use for this one and I'm unlikely to ever use in the future. So the first name on my list of baby names that I like but will not be using is Bennett. Bennett is an old English name. I really like this name and how it sounds, and it kind of appealed to me. There are a couple of reasons why I didn't want to go with Bennett though. One is that my name obviously begins with B as well, Bryony, and I'm just not really into the whole having the same first initial as my child thing. That's just not personally something I wanted to do. And the other reason is because Bennett will almost inevitably get shortened to Ben at some point, and I'm not such a fan of the name Ben, so that's why I ruled out Bennett. The next name that I like but won't be using is Henry. Henry is quite a popular name now actually in the UK, and it's a name that I really like, and one of my favourite characters in a TV show when I was little was called Henry. It was Thomas the Tank Engine. So I've always really liked the name and it's always kind of appealed to me, but it is quite a common name and I wanted one that was a little bit more unique, so that's why I decided not to go with Henry. Another baby name that I really like but won't be using is Noah. Noah I think is a gorgeous name. It's obviously a biblical name, and whilst I'm not a practicing Christian, I have a Christian heritage, and so I like looking at biblical names. I think they're quite cute, a lot of them. But Noah is currently the #1 baby boy name, I think in the UK, possibly across the Western world, but certainly in the UK it is the #1 baby boy name at the moment, and so it's just a bit too popular for me, and that's one of the reasons why I chose not to use it. The next name on my list of baby names that I like but won't be using is Ezra. I actually really love the name Ezra. I think it's a beautiful name. I've seen it used for girls and boys, and it is a name that has grown massively in popularity over the last couple of years. I now know a couple of children who have called Ezra, and so like I said with some of the other names, I quite like unique names, and I just felt it's a little bit common now for me and I just didn't want to use it. So whilst I love the name I think it's beautiful, I decided it just wasn't quite for me. The next baby name on my list is Ellery. Now Ellery is quite an uncommon name. It's not used very often. It is an old English name. I also really do like the name Ellery. However, it doesn't really have an easy abbreviation for it other than Ella, which is obviously very female. Could possibly become Eli, which would work really nicely. But the main reason that I decided not to use Ellery is because when it comes to fostering, sometimes we have children that we foster who are likely to go for adoption, and sometimes when they go for adoption they will have their names changed if there's a particular reason why that's going to happen, or sometimes we get children that come into care who don't even have a name, they've not been given one. So with one of my particular fosterlings I was kind of playing around with the idea of, oh, if I was to adopt you and your name was going to be changed, what name might I choose for you? And so went through the whole list of baby names, and Ellery was one of the names that came up, and so I kind of associate that name with that fosterling, even though that's not their name. Obviously I would not be saying this on camera, they have a completely different name, but I kind of associate the name Ellery with that child now, so for me I can't use it again because it's already I've already given it to someone else even though it's not their name. The next name on my list is Sebastian. So Sebastian is quite a traditional British name, and I quite like traditional names as well as some of the more original ones, so this is one of the reasons why I particularly like this name. However, again, I know a couple of Sebastians now, and also Sebastian doesn't have like a really easy abbreviation to it. You kind of get Seb or Sebi or Bash or Bastian. So there's a number of different things that can be abbreviated to, but it doesn't really have a super obvious one, and that I found was something that sometimes mattered with names that I found and sometimes didn't. But I decided that Sebastian was probably a little bit too common for me, with the name I wanted to choose for my son, but I do really like the name. Another name that I love but won't be using is Finley. So Finley is quite a popular British name, and it also has a really nice abbreviation obviously to Finn, which I really love too. However, again, it's quite popular, but also my surname begins with F, and obviously Finley starts with F too, and I wasn't super crazy about how they sounded together, so that was one of the reasons that I ruled out using Finley. Another name that I like, but actually this one kind of surprised me, is Peter. I would never have thought that I'd have Peter on my list, but actually when I started thinking about it, the name Peter kind of grew on me throughout my pregnancy. Again, it's a pretty traditional British name, and there's quite a few characters that we know who are called Peter. Obviously we have Peter Rabbit and there's Peter Pan, and I quite liked the name Peter, but I really did not like the abbreviation of Pete, which it would almost certainly get shortened to, and so for that reason I ruled out Peter. But Peter is a name that I do quite like. The next name on my list of baby names I like but won't be using is Thomas. I think Thomas is a gorgeous name and I really, really like it. However, I'm not super keen on the abbreviation of Tom or Tommy, which probably it would get shortened to at some point in his life. And also Thomas is quite a popular name, and as you've probably established from this video, I wanted a name that was a little bit more rare or unique, so that was one of the reasons that I ruled out using the name Thomas. And the final name on my list of baby names that I like but will not be using with baby boy is Elijah. Elijah is a beautiful name. It's kind of very lyrical because it rolls off the tongue nicely, Elijah. I just think it's lovely, and I also really like the kind of abbreviation from Elijah to Eli, so that kind of worked well too. So I did really consider Elijah. However, again, I kind of know a couple of Elijahs, and I just felt it was a little bit popular for me, and it just didn't feel like quite the right fit for me and my little one, but it is a name that I really do like, so I wanted to add it on to my list. So yes, those are the baby boy names that I like but will not be using with my little boy. Like I said before, there are a couple of others that I do quite like, but I really like them, and just in case the name I have currently picked for him I don't think suits him when he's here, I might change to one of them, so I'm going to keep them quiet just in case, but also because if by any chance I have another boy in the future, I just want to hang on to them in case I use them for him. But I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know if any of you chose these names for your own children. I think they're all beautiful, and like I said, there's different reasons why I chose not to have them. A lot of them were because I just felt they were a little bit popular and I wanted something a little bit more unique, but obviously they're all gorgeous names and that's why I like them. But I would love to know what names you chose for your own children if you have them, and how maybe you came across them, and what made you pick the particular names you did. So be sure to let me know in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Do please subscribe, and I will next see you when I'm back from my maternity leave. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.